disappeared under layers of lava and volcanic ash 1,900 years ago. The stories of those who lived through the horrors of an erupting, life-destroying volcano have, until this dramatization, not been told. One great book by Edward Bulwer-Lytton has been written of this city of the dead, to which we have added sound and fury and facts unknown to Sir Edward, in a series of 5 mini-dramas of the people of Pompeii, their lives, hopes, dreams, and attempts to survive during those last days.
Where am I? What am I doing in the Temple of Isis?
You used to come here quite often, Oriana.
I know. But tonight I feel I'm only half awake. Why can't I remember?
Remember the past, Oriana.
Did I come here for one of our talks and fall asleep? And this bitter taste in my mouth. It is strange.
Our drama, told in 5 complete parts, based on Bulwer-Lytton's classic novel, The Last Days of Pompeii, has been especially adapted for the Mystery Theater by Gerald Keane and stars Russell Horton. I'll be back shortly with Act 1.
This week on Knots Landing, Karen's efforts to defend her daughter's school teacher from her neighbor's attacks lead her into a relationship that could destroy her marriage.
Starting this afternoon, I'm going to do whatever I can to help beat you.
I wonder if you'd say that if you didn't have those curly blue eyes.
Michelle Lee stars on Knots Landing, Thursday night at 10, 9 Central, on CBS Television.
Suppose I asked you to lunch tomorrow.
Ask.
I'm Susan Anton. It's a good feeling to sleep the night away on a perfect sleeper's bicycle. Pillow Soft is the ultimate in sleep. Unique extra thick cushioning for heavenly comfort on top. Ultra firm support inside. Perfect sleeper Pillow Soft. Firmness that feels good. Be a perfect sleeper. Buy a perfect sleeper. Perfect sleeper. Buy
and you know that cigarettes are a breathing hazard. Smokers, please don't add that extra offense. Give us a break for life and breath.
The year 79 A.D. Jesus Christ has been dead 40 years, put to death as a revolutionary by the very Romans who believed their rules superseded any golden rule. They worship many gods, practice many arts, and consider themselves the most civilized and sophisticated beings on earth. And many live in Pompeii on this hot summer day in August, when the streets are almost deserted.
Well, if you ask me, Marcus Rufus, I think you're mad. It is blazing hot, and you insist on remaining in the city over the weekend.
My good friend Diomed, I've told you I've something very important to take care of.
We could be sitting on my boat in the bay, enjoying whatever is left of a cool breeze this very moment.
Any weekend but this. But why didn't you set sail this morning yourself, alone?
Because I thought at the last minute I might convince you not to waste your weekend on a fool's errand.
Oh, I suppose I am foolish.
But I cannot get that woman out of my mind.
Marcus, I'll tell you right now. That woman you say haunts you, she is not for you. The kind of people who go to the temple of Isis, who take seriously what that so-called priest tells them, calls himself an Egyptian holy man.
Diemed, that chariot is out of control.
Well, we'd better move into this doorway.
Oh, great Jove, there's a girl crossing the avenue. Doesn't she see it? You! Look out! Get out of the way, girl! The chariot!
Marcus, what are you doing?
Hold on to me, girl. Hold fast. We're going to jump. Oh, that was a close call. What's wrong with you? Didn't you hear me shouting?
You saved my life, sir.
I know I did. I almost lost mine. Now, you are supposed to look when you cross the road.
But...
Didn't you hear or see anything? Are you deaf, dumb, and blind?
No, Your Grace. Only blind. I'm sorry.
Oh. No. It's my turn to apologize. Blind. You must forgive me.
Well, usually I have no trouble getting around.
Did you see that fool? He kept right on going.
But I was confused. I couldn't tell which street the chariot was coming from.
You don't know how lucky you are, young lady. You've got to keep your eyes open.
Diemed, this young lady is blind.
Oh, it's downright disgraceful the way that Blind? Did you say blind? Oh, my dear girl, how are you able to walk the streets and find your way?
Oh, this is the very first accident that has befallen me.
Now, are you sure you're all right? I'd be happy to accompany you where you're going.
Oh, it's not necessary. I've grown up in Pompeii. There isn't a corner of it. A shop, a road, a marketplace that I don't know. Really.
Miraculous.
If you'll just turn me around and head me in the direction of the Temple of Isis, that's all I need.
Oh, the Temple of Isis. Isn't that where you're going, Marcus?
What takes you there, young lady?
Arbaces, the high priest. He is most inspiring.
Let me take you there. I wouldn't want you to have another near accident.
Oh, but that wouldn't be possible.
Oh, why not?
You shouldn't be seen on the same side of the street with me. I am a slave, and free men do not walk with slaves.
Indeed. What is your name, slave?
Lydia.
And who owns you, Lydia?
The wine merchant, Calvus.
Lydia, let's be on our way. I wouldn't like being late for the sermon.
Marcus Rufus, you're not seriously going to waste an afternoon listening to that rabble-rouser?
I told you, Diemed, there's someone who goes to that temple I want to meet.
If you'll excuse me, sir, that high priest has helped many. I pray he can help me.
Then what do you think he can do for you, my girl?
Give me courage.
Oh, the man's a charlatan. The only person he's ever helped is himself. The gold plate in that temple would stun you.
Lydia, this is my old and good friend Diemed. He's a businessman, a merchant. He owns a fleet of ships, and he's a very wise man. Yet even the wise can learn.
I am honored, sir.
I'd like you, in your own words, to explain to my friend why you believe in this man.
Doctors have told me that all my life I shall always be blind. Arbaces, the priest, tells me I need not always be a slave.
I say to you, throw off your shackles, all pretensions. I leave you with the thought that from Egypt came knowledge of the world, of the stars, the seasons of the earth. There is more to your destiny than to live in the shadow of Vesuvius. Attach yourself to Egypt. Wake up, Pompeii. Sin no more. Go and be merciful. Well, that didn't go down too badly. Did it, Arbaces? They liked it?
Oh, Master, you're wringing wet. You give so much of yourself.
Well, there is no other way.
It was one of the finest speeches you ever made.
That is where you're wrong. That was no speech. I speak my convictions from the heart. The multitude can tell. The slightest note of insincerity shows up right away. That is what distinguishes the ordained from the ordinary.
I shall never learn to speak from the heart as you do, Master.
Oh, of course you will, Arbaces. I'd say you have all the qualities for spiritual leadership. That is why I selected you as a novitiate.
It's a great honor, but I have much to learn.
There isn't one of us who couldn't use a little more knowledge. Oh, by the way, I didn't see your charming sister Oriana at the temple today.
She's very busy with the work among the women. Master, there's several people lining up to speak to you.
Oh, do you recognize any?
Yes.
Do they look well off? Not that I ever refuse the poor, but our ministry cannot proceed without funds.
One of them is Diomed, the merchant.
Diomed? The Diomed, the ship owner?
I believe so.
Have him step up first. And don't dry me off too well. A man who preaches looks better wet than dry. I came against my will, Arbaces, but my friend insisted. I am a merchant, not a gambler. But when I do bet, it's only on sure things. So only if your spells and incantations can ward off the evil eye will I make you a donation. What do you desire? I have 3 ships arriving from Capri in 2 days. I've been watching the skies, and those black clouds over Vesuvius are not to my liking. Now, if you could guarantee my ship's safe harbor, I'll reward you. Last winter you lost 6 ships. This past summer you lost another 3. How did you know that? You want a guarantee? I'll give you a guarantee. Leave your sacks of gold in the offering room. 2 sacks for each safe journey. Done. I'll have my slaves bring them over by nightfall. Arbaces, show the citizen out the side door and bring in the next penitent. A young man and a young lady.
I came today because I was looking for someone.
And the young lady. Yes, you're Lydia. We have met, haven't we?
High Priest, I was very moved by your sermon.
Thank you, my dear. Arbaces, I think we can close the temple doors for the day. You, the young man, you are Marcus Rufus, and you have come because someone... Yes, you came to see someone, but they're not here. There's someone in the audience?
That is quite true.
Leave an offering in the box on your way out. It's a lady you wish to meet. Leave an offering, and you will, I say, will meet her today. 10 gold pieces will do it. Good day, Marcus Rufus.
Before I go, I should tell you Lydia has no sight.
You don't have to tell Arbaces anything. He knows. How sad. Blind in so beautiful a body. The will of the gods. Has it been always so, Lydia?
Yes. I was born without sight. But the richness of your voice makes up for the fact that I cannot see you.
Marcus Rufus, you may leave us. Don't forget the offering box. This sweet child and I shall have a quiet little talk. Sit down, my dear. Here, let me lead you to this couch.
That was my introduction to Arbaces, that very strange Egyptian high priest, the most popular of the many cults and beliefs in Pompeii. I had to smile at Diomed, who, although he protested Arbaces was a fake, just the same, just in case, would send along a couple of bags of gold. Since Pompeii in 79 was so popular, there were those who preyed on its people like vultures.
Come here, you.
What do you want?
Where are you going?
Home.
Is that near here?
Is that any of your business?
Oh, a brave fellow. What's your name?
Arbaces?
That's funny kind of clothes you're wearing.
It's a tunic that a priest wears.
Are you a priest in the temple of Jupiter or Mars?
Neither. I'm a neophyte in the Egyptian temple of Isis.
An Egyptian, then. You must carry gold.
I have no gold.
Don't lie to me.
We are sworn to poverty. Would you mind if I just walked along? I don't feel like talking anymore.
I would mind. I feel like talking.
What else do you want to know?
Do you think foreigners ought to be allowed in Pompeii? Take you. Jupiter isn't good enough for you.
I never said that. Jupiter is not so much against sin, but he is supposed to make you rich.
That's the difference between you and me. You don't care, but I do. I want to be rich. I'm looking for riches every night. Hand it across.
I have no gold, I told you.
We'll have to see then, won't we?
Oh, help! Help! These murderers!
Say one more word and this knife will make it your last.
Help!
Nothing has changed much in 1900 years, has it? Cutthroats and muggers are still with us. We're standing on a street in Pompeii in the huge shadow of a volcano. The moon is bright and high. Tragedy on a grand scale is a handful of miles away. On this street, a neophyte priest fights for his life. I shall return shortly with Act 2.
The word is out. There's an outrageous new thriller just published entitled Out. It's the unbelievable story of two mob kingpins, a two-timing shyster, and a mall named Zaza, all involved in a daring plot to launder billions of mob money through a Swiss bank. The only trouble is the one man with the password to get the money out has vanished. Well, not exactly. His leg is found on the Geneva to Zurich train. For out-and-out entertainment, read Out by Pierre Ray, a Bantam book where paperbacks are sold.
This week on Knots Landing, Karen's efforts to defend her daughter's school teacher from her neighbor's attacks lead her into a relationship that could destroy her marriage.
Starting this afternoon, I'm going to do whatever I can to help beat you.
I wonder if you'd say that if you didn't have those curly blue eyes.
Michelle Lee stars on Knots Landing, Thursday night at 10, 9 Central on CBS Television.
Suppose I asked you to lunch tomorrow.
Ask.
When was the last time you made a bologna sandwich for your child's lunch? Did you know that tested against 3 other sandwich foods, bologna is the highest in cost per ounce of protein, highest in fats and calories, contains potentially harmful sodium nitrate, and is 4 times as expensive as the cheapest sandwich, peanut butter, which is more nutritious. That's what you could have learned from Consumer Reports, published by America's leading non-profit product testing consumer organization. Completely independent, Consumer Reports stands guard over your family and your dollars, the food you eat, the cars you drive, the appliances you use, and the services you depend on. 1,000. Subscribe now to Consumer Reports for this money-saving offer. 11 monthly issues of our magazine, Consumer Reports, plus the invaluable 1980 buying guide issue, plus our 383-page guide to drugs and health, plus the 1981 buying guide issue when published, 331-1000. A total value of $25.75, all for just $12. To take advantage of this offer, dial this toll-free number, 800-331-1000. Consumer Reports, 800-331-1000.
Dallas, Fort Worth.
Did I tell you it was August the 24th in the year 79 A.D. that Pompeii was inundated under an avalanche of pumice, lava, and volcanic ash? A historic blessing in catastrophic disguise. For when dug up, there were the taverns of the poor and the villas of the rich, just as if the occupants had stepped out for a moment. Some Pompeians never made it to their doors. Now it is several days before the cataclysm. Marcus Rufus, young and red-headed, continues our story.
I'd left the Temple of Isis. It was dark, and then a cry in the night. I ran to the sound. In a moment, I'd overpowered the ruffian attacking the young priest. I gave the cutthroat over to the magistrates. The young man was bleeding. I thought I recognized him from the Temple of Isis. He lived nearby, he said. So I led him to his house.
Oriana, it's I, Arbaces.
Oh, Arbaces, I've been so worried about you. Great Zeus, what happened? Brother, you're covered in blood.
This is Marcus Rufus, a citizen. I was attacked in the street, and Marcus saved me. Oh, Marcus, I can't thank you enough.
This is your sister, Oriana?
Yes.
Oh, my dear friend. You may be the one struck down in the street tonight, but I am the one struck dumb. I think your brother should lie down and rest. He may need a doctor.
I don't think so. I have dressed his wounds, and he is resting.
You take charge right away, don't you?
Are you surprised? My brother needs no doctor.
Really? When I first saw you, it was outside the temple 3 days ago, and you were talking to a group of women as if they were men.
Better than men. I talk to those women as if they were human beings.
I must go now. I was happy to have helped your brother. What a reward.
What are you talking about?
2 hours ago, I placed 10 gold pieces in the offering box at the temple of Isis. And in exchange, the high priest told me I'd get my wish.
And did you?
Someday I'll tell you. Well, good night.
Marcus?
Yes?
For helping my brother tonight, I thank you. What did you think of that high priest?
Arbaces? You know him?
My question first.
Oh, an extraordinary man.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. I believe him to be divine.
That I'm not so sure about, but he does have powers over events and men.
And over women.
Over you?
I don't know you well enough to tell you that.
I hope someday you will.
Marcus Rufus. Over here.
I've been looking for you, Diomed. May I join you?
Yeah, sit. Calvers, a beaker of wine here. So you've been looking for me, have you? Not very hard. I come to this tavern every day, always have.
I mean today in particular I was looking for you. Isn't it today you have 3 ships due in from Capri? There's a storm coming up, very black clouds over Vesuvius.
Yes, I know what the weather is. Where have you been keeping yourself? Don't bother to make up a story. I know.
A gentleman cannot visit a lady in Pompeii without rumors.
Is it true that she stands on street corners and tries to organize the women of Pompeii?
Well, I've heard, but I don't...
Tells them they ought to be running things? Seems to me women run everything without being told. Very black clouds, did you say?
Thick like smoke as far as the eye can see.
I pray my captains can make harbor before the storm hits the bay.
Your ships will be protected. That's what gods are for.
Yes, I know that.
Put your faith in that Egyptian high priest. His magic worked for me. It'll work for you.
Oh, that sanctimonious joker has no magic.
Oh, no. He tells me in a few hours I shall meet the woman whose face has been haunting me, and it happens.
It's coincidence. That priest has the power to make events happen. What do you take me for, a fool? How could he know that some ruffian would attack a young man who turns out to be the woman's brother, That's coincidence.
I'm not so sure.
Where is that bald-headed Calvus? You're right. I simply can't sit here. That storm is making me very, very nervous. I'm going out to the landing.
Out there in all this rain? What good will it do you? I thought you gave bags of gold to Arbaces that day we went to the temple with the blind girl.
Well, I said I sent in gold, but of course I didn't. What am I, a fool? I had one of my slaves bring 6 bags of impure bronze. It shines like gold, but it's much cheaper.
So, you don't believe in Arbaces' powers?
No, not for 1 minute. That priest is a swindle. He preys on the fear of superstitious people. No. I put my faith in Mercury, the god of commerce. He's the one I rely on.
Diomed, 9 ships lost in 2 seasons.
Well, 29 came in safely. I'm going. You're coming with me, aren't you? It is a long walk, Marcus Rufus, so we'd better start. There'll be time for wine later.
We're not late, brother.
I don't think so, Oriana. The hour of meeting was sundown. I just happened to hear of it by accident.
Oh, I had no idea there were all these underground passages at the Stabian Baths. Oh, Arbaces, I'll never forgive myself if I miss one word said by this holy man.
I've never heard a Christian speak before.
This Paul is more than an ordinary Christian. He is one of the true disciples of Jesus Christ. He knew him personally. Oh, this is like those Roman catacombs where the Christians gather to pray. A woman was telling me.
Shh. Do you hear something?
It's an underground world.
I go from town to town.
Yeah, I can hear some talking.
To bring his teachings and salvation.
That's the way. I'll hold the candle up so we can find our way.
Believe
Look how many people are here. I can count 50 candles. More. Oh, you should have told me sooner, Arbaces.
People all only arrived from Jerusalem today, and we had to keep this meeting secret.
You must keep the faith between God and you. We shall all have to stand before God for judgment. Who among you citizens of Pompeii can tell me what the Lord Jesus Christ said about judgment? Raise your candles high in the air so I may see you.
Arbaces, let me have your candle.
Do I see a candle raised?
Yes. I would like to answer.
Are you a Christian?
No, I am not a Christian. But I have an open mind.
And you know the words of the Lord Jesus Christ?
I have not read the scriptures, but a Roman woman who knew Mary Magdalene has told me.
And they are?
As surely as I live, every knee will bend before me, and every tongue will make its confession to God.
Judgment Day. I will come forward to you, young woman. Why are you here today?
To learn, Your Holiness. I have worshipped at many altars. Jupiter, Mars, Greek gods. Even now I seek the truth in the Egyptian temple of Isis, here in Pompeii.
And this young man here beside you?
He is my brother, Arbaces. He is studying the priestcraft of Isis.
It matters not to God. Today I visit this city to teach that Christ died for all men, of all faiths.
May I ask you, am I doing wrong to join an Egyptian faith?
It is for the conscience of each of us to determine how we would worship. Obey the commandments. You must not commit adultery. You must not murder. You must not steal. You must not covet. Summed up, you must love your neighbor as you do yourself.
I'm glad we heard the Christian. I wonder what Arbaces would have said.
I don't know. Arbaces is such a good man. I feel I would do anything for him. I think of him as a true friend. How can I turn my back on him now when he has given so much meaning to my life?
So it's the man you worship, sister, not the religion.
I don't know. And it's not any easier since I've met Marcus Rufus.
Oriana.
Arbaces, you startled me.
Brother and sister at the baths. Both of you sneaking underground with this handful of heretics to listen to the mockery of this crucified Christ.
Have you been waiting for us?
No, I was at the baths. I saw this line of pilgrims with their candles, and I said to myself, poor ignorant peasants. But to find you both here, Oriana, you, Arbaces, a dagger in my heart. This Christianity is only for the ignorant.
Why do you say that? It's a sign of intelligence to admit you don't know all the answers.
You are breaking away from the faith of Isis. I suspected it now that you have a new friend in Marcus Rufus, another agnostic.
So, it's Marcus you object to.
If anyone Anyone would have told me I'd be up all night and the next morning rowing my head off in a full gale. I would have laughed at him.
The joke's on me, too. I'm a ship owner. I haven't rowed since I was a boy. This is hard work.
How long do you think it'll take us to get to the reefs?
Your guess is better than mine.
Standing with you last night on that wharf, watching two of your ships going down within sight of land. How calmly you took it.
Well, what else could I do? Life is chances. Yeah, I relied on good weather and my old amulets.
There's one chance you took, my friend, which didn't help.
Only one?
Well, when you made an offering of bags of impure bronze instead of gold. Who knows? The real thing might have brought you good weather and ships in safe harbor.
It jumps, men! Our boat is shipping water. She's sinking fast. Jump and swim for it!
Life in Pompeii is beginning to unfold for us. By the standards of our century, perhaps it's a primitive existence, yet there is a sophistication of thought and ambition. Whatever their way of life, we cannot forget these men and women of the very first century A.D. laid the building blocks upon which today's civilization stands. I shall return shortly with Act 3.
Do you know how to get the most for your money when you're buying air conditioners, vacuum cleaners, baloney, auto batteries, calculators, washers and dryers, cameras, insulation, house paint, margarine, freezers, tuna fish, insurance, lawnmowers, mopeds, food processors, radios, refrigerators, television sets, stereo systems, and automobiles? Well, these are just a few of the hundreds of products that Consumer Reports tests, rates, and investigates for you. Consumer Reports is published by America's leading non-profit product testing consumer organization, completely independent. When you read Consumer Reports, you'll know how to get the most out of the dollars you spend. 1,000. Subscribe now to Consumer Reports for this money-saving offer. 11 monthly issues of our magazine, Consumer Reports, plus the invaluable 1980 buying guide issue, plus our 383-page guide to drugs and health, plus the 1981 buying guide issue when published, 331-1000. A total value of $25.75, all for just $12. Just $12. To take advantage of this offer, dial this toll-free number, 800-331-1000. Consumer Reports, 800-331-1000.
WFAA, Dallas-Fort Worth.
Where in the world can you meet so many people? In a bookstore, of course, and at Taylor's particularly. William Shakespeare, Pogo, Krishnamurti, Alice in Wonderland, Julia Child, Jimmy Carter, St. Thomas Aquinas, Stanley Marcus, Sigmund Freud, Ansel Adams, Edgar Casey, Socrates, Vincent van Gogh, Ben Green, the Marquis de Sade, Frank Lloyd Wright, Dr. Seuss, F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Taylor's, Dallas Complete Bookstore, Preston Center on Northwest Highway.
August 24th, 79 A.D., the long-sleeping volcano Mount Vesuvius exploded. And by evening of that day, Pompeii, a cosmos of civilization, itself was dead, buried under layers of volcanic ash and pumice and mud, which became its tomb for centuries. In our story, that Holocaust hasn't happened yet. Men and women are meeting the needs of daily life just as you or I would today.
Nothing can make you feel so much like a fool than to be helping someone and have it turn out badly. We hit the reef and sank. The four sailors, Diomed and I, managed to swim to shore, just in time to see the cargo break up on the rocks. A total loss. So, Diomed and I went to dry ourselves from the inside out. Where? At the tavern, of course. I hope we never again have an occasion like this to celebrate.
I made the decision. I suffered the loss.
Maybe some things the gods cannot change? Diomed, if there's any way I can help, you've only to ask. I make an excellent living as an architect and...
my dear young redhead. If that isn't the most generous thing I've ever heard of. No. I'll just have to tighten my toga.
Well, I'm doing 10 villas in the hills over Capua. Why don't we join forces? Instead of just designing them, I'll build them, and you can be my contractor. What do you say?
I don't know what to say. After this last ship fiasco, I doubt if any bank will give me credit.
They'll give me credit. You do the expediting.
You stupid! Clumsy! Look what you've done!
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, sir. But the amphora was too heavy for me to carry. It slipped out of my hand.
Get out of my sight!
Oh.
Still whining to these prices? Get out of here! I don't need you anymore.
Whoa, Calvus! Who are you shouting at?
Oh, that dumb, stupid, good-for-nothing slave girl. I take pity on her, open my heart to her. I'll find a place for you in my tavern. Come work for me. And I don't know what she does. Oh, you should see the mess out there. 2 broken amphora jars, gallons of the finest wine. Buy a handicapped female slave, and you get just what you pay for. I might have known.
Did you say handicapped?
Yeah. That silly, stupid slave is blind.
I hadn't expected to find you here, Lydia. Do you remember me?
Yes, I do. Marcus Rufus.
Is this that slave girl you hauled out of the chariot's path?
Now, I've asked your master to bring you to our table, Lydia, because he tells me he's most dissatisfied with you.
Oh, I'm sure he is. It was an accident.
How can I run a tavern when all the profits are spilled on the floor?
I think your master has a point. Do you have any other talents, Lydia?
I have taught myself to write.
Right. And the girl can't see.
And I can sing.
I would say your talents are wasted in this tavern. I don't see why the good Calvus would want to keep you here any longer.
Oh, but I need the work. My mother and father depend on me. They're old and sick.
Do you pay your slave anything, Calvus?
Of course not. Who pays a slave? I do permit Lydia's parents to live here as a favor.
Oh, that's generous. They have a room?
A kind of shed beyond the open-air drinking area.
Lydia, my family can always use another girl in the household. Aunts, uncles, so many I can't count them. I think I'll buy you.
Wait, buy Lydia? Who said she's for sale?
Oh, I thought you wanted to be rid of her.
Who said?
At any price. Come now.
Well, a girl who knows her way around in a tavern is worth the weight in gold. No. I couldn't sell her.
There, you see, Lydia? Isn't it nice to be appreciated? All right. Name your price.
I paid 6 sesterces for her. She's worth 12 now.
Shall we say an even 20?
20?
Oh, the girl can sing. Calvus, come with me to the magistrate to draw up the legal forms and then to my house for your money. And Lydia, tell your mother and father to get their things together. Plenty of room in my house, and you can live with them. Oh, by the way, I do remember correctly, don't I? You know Pompeii like the back of your hand?
Master, with 2 eyes, I couldn't find my way about better.
Do you know the Via dell'Abbondanza?
Oh, yes.
Now, at the very end is the Villa of the Marble Faun. I want you to take a message to a lady who lives there.
To a lady?
A young and beautiful and very stubborn lady.
It is I, servant to Marcus Rufus, who stands outside the entrance to the Villa of the Marble Faun with a message from my master. It is I, servant to...
I know. Servant to Marcus Rufus. You have a message for me.
You are Oriana, mistress of the villa?
Surely you can tell by the way I'm dressed. Oh, my poor child. Forgive me. I had no idea. Here, let me take your arm. We'll sit over there by the fountain. It's cooler. You do it very well, you know. I should never have guessed that you can't see.
Thank you.
Has it always been so?
Always. Since I was born.
What is your name?
Lydia.
Lydia. How did you and your master meet?
I was almost run down by a chariot. He saved me. I was on my way to the Temple of Isis.
The temple where Arbaces preaches?
Oh, yes. Do you know him?
What a small world our Pompeii is. Let me have the message from Marcus Rufus. The answer is yes. Marcus Rufus may come and see me, and I shall expect him tonight.
Before I go, could you... what does it look like?
This fountain, the marble fawn.
It sounds so beautiful. If I can just touch its face and little body, then I will know exactly how it is formed. Oh, yes. How lovely.
Lydia, I would like you and I to be friends. A free woman can be friends with a slave. And if I had a little sister like you, I would tell her what I know. Show her the beauties of the mind, which very few people know how to see. I shall ask Marcus Rufus that you attend me once a week. We shall study languages, art, history.
What could I give in exchange?
Can you cook?
Oh, yes. My mother taught me.
Well, I'd like to learn. That is an art. Is that a fair trade, Lydia? I've never been able to boil an egg.
I have never eaten a boiled egg.
You will. In my house.
Master, wake up!
I am up. What is it? What's the hour?
Master, something has happened to Oriana. She has left the villa.
I am robed. You may come in. Come in. Now. Speak calmly, quietly, child. What is the hour?
3, before the cock crows.
Why are you about this time of night? Your parents will be worried.
I have seen them. They told me to see you right away.
I'm listening.
This is the day of the week I have my history lesson with Oriana. I mean, last night was. It takes place after the evening meal.
Yes.
Well, last night, someone came to the door. Oriana said I should wait. I heard voices in the garden. A man's voice. It seemed familiar, but I'm not sure. I did hear Oriana say, No, I cannot go with you this evening. And then she cried out. I ran to the atrium. I could hear she was struggling with a man. And then I must have tripped and fallen and hit my head. And when I woke up, the villa was deserted. I looked everywhere. Oriana was gone.
You didn't recognize the man?
No, it was dark. But I did find this. Here.
An ivory comb.
It's not a woman's comb.
It is marked with the seal of the Egyptian god Isis.
Where am I? Arbaces, you. How came I here?
Of your own free will.
I am in the Temple of Isis. But why? What am I doing here?
You used to come here quite often, Oriana.
I know. But why tonight? Something eludes me. I feel as if I'm half awake. As if there is something missing. I'm not quite all me.
I have felt that way for quite some time, Oriana.
Why can't I remember? Did I come here for one of our talks and fall asleep? I feel like I'm chained. But there are no chains. And this bitter taste in my mouth.
Oriana, I want you to listen carefully. Death is not far away. All those of Pompeii, they slumber. Today, this city is a bright jewel in the empire. But so once were the cities of my own country, Egypt. And what are they today? But ruins along the Nile. The palaces, the shrines are but tombs. Oriana, speak with my tongue. I command you.
serpent coils in the grass on an Egyptian street. The lizard basks in the great hall of a pharaoh.
And who has robbed Egypt, Oriana?
Rome.
Rome has robbed Egypt, clothed itself with the spoils. And what is in the future? Speak with my voice.
Egypt will be avenged.
Yes, Oriana. Those of Pompeii, of Naples, of Herculaneum, of Rome, who have sown the wind with conquest, shall reap the harvest in the whirlwind of desolation.
Arbaces! Arbaces, I know you are beyond this bronze door. I know that Oriana is with you. If you do not open these doors and release her this instant, I shall call upon all the peace magistrates of Pompeii.
Marcus Rufus, you will never be able to enter this sacred place. The doors are too thick and too heavily bolted. You may call all the magistrates you wish, but these holy doors will never open.
What is that?
Close your eyes, Oriana. It is the thunder from the Nile.
No. Oh, what am I doing here?
Oriana, are you in the inner temple?
Marcus, is that you?
Stand away from the bronze doors, Oriana. The ground is shaking the temple loose. Oriana, stand back! The doors are falling! Oriana, hold on to my hand.
Marcus!
So much dust and sand. We must find a way out.
What is happening?
It's an earthquake. We've got to run for it. Escape somehow!
That Pompeii suffered a severe earthquake, but it was not the quake that destroyed it. That is to come later. In this episode, the first day, we have met many citizens of Pompeii, some free, some slave. We have lived their lives, shared their food, followed their problems. Theirs was an extraordinary mixture of high cultures and the basest of superstitions. More when I return shortly.
I'm not the handiest person in the world, but nowadays do-it-yourself home repair is almost a necessity. Admittedly, some of my work is not perfect, but it gets by. Like many people, I try painting, woodworking, and even masonry, but I never dabble with electricity because it can be dangerous and not forgiving of carelessness. Yes, Americans are learning how to do more with their hands, and hopefully are not forgetting some of the old rules, like never mixing water and electricity, and reading all power tool instruction booklets before use. And let's not forget about the rule to check for damaged electrical cords either. And remember the one to always dress appropriately, wear closed-toed, sturdy shoes, and safety glasses. And finally, never leave power tools unattended, and keep children away from the work area.
A public service announcement from Underwriters Laboratories in this station.
What intrigues and fascinates me, aside from the pure accident of time, that it should be 1900 years ago on August 24th at 10 a.m. on a Roman hourglass, aside from that, how like our own friends and neighbors are these Pompeians, whether it be bartender or shipowner, the woman who accepts or the woman who rebels. Join us again when we continue this saga where we left it, the second day of those very last days of Pompeii. Our cast included Russell Horton, Evie Juster, Christopher Tabori, and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now a preview of the second day in our special series, The Last Days of Pompeii. Thrown to the lions.
May everyone in this atrium, at this table, raise their cups to their lips. To love and success. And may Apollo watch over us.
Lovely speech. Very nice.
Of houses to build houses, Ship? Oh.
Marcus. Marcus, what is it? What are you saying?
It's too warm for me here. I must go.
Marcus, why are you getting up?
He looks very pale. Perhaps I should go with him.
There is fire in my veins. Stay away from me! Don't try to stop me, anyone. I have my dagger. Stay away! It's tearing at my brain. So many colors, blinding colors!
Arbaces, come with me. Something has affected his mind. I fear for his life. Will you excuse us? I must go help the poor man. He has suddenly gone mad.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Consumer Reports.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. This week, we are devoting 5 broadcasts to the incredible saga, The Last Days of Pompeii. Imagine, if you will, any cosmopolitan coastal resort suddenly swallowed up and disappearing. And then imagine uncovering this treasure house of civilization, piece by piece, person by person, putting together this puzzle of the past, which is our task and adventure all this week on Mystery Theater.
And why do you come to see me, fair Julia?
Because I need your magic, Arbaces. The power of revenge.
You believe that I, Arbaces, the high priest of Isis, can give you such power? Why do you wish it?
I do not relish being rejected by a man. Can you give me power over his life?
Today's drama, Thrown to the Lions, is the second part of Bulwer-Lytton's classic, The Last Days of Pompeii, adapted especially for Mystery Theater by Gerald Keane and stars Russell Horton. I'll be back shortly with Act 1.
And that's why we say, go out and buy a bunch today.
That's your new TV commercial, Mr. Sloak, for Snacky Crackies with Raisin Pits.
How much did that actually cost me?
Cost?
Yes.
Well, we're still adding it all up here. $42,000.
Gee, TV is so expensive.
Not as long as there aren't any changes.
Did I mention there may soon be a worldwide shortage of Raisin Pits?
One TV version without Raisin Pits.
How much will that add to the...
$3,000.
And we want to tell Health Nuts we make snackies with Health Nuts.
$279,000.
And we need a version that will talk to the financial community.
With the singing mouse and the dancing bunny in a business suit for...
Let me add that one for you. $300.
If business conditions make it necessary, with radio you can afford to change commercials fast. If you want to really target consumer groups, it won't cost a fortune to make commercials that fit each audience. Put amazingly flexible radio to work as a primary medium. Radio, it's red hot. For the red hot facts, call this station or the Radio Advertising Bureau. They brought you this message.
I'm not the handiest person in the world, but nowadays do-it-yourself home repair is almost a necessity. Admittedly, some of my work is not perfect, but it gets by. Like many people, I try painting, woodworking, and even masonry, but I never dabble with electricity because it can be dangerous and not forgiving of carelessness. Yes, Americans are learning how to do more with their hands, and hopefully are not forgetting some of the old rules, like never mixing water and electricity, and reading all power tool instruction booklets before use. And let's not forget about the rule to check for damaged electrical cords either. And remember the one to always dress appropriately. Wear closed-toed, sturdy shoes and safety glasses. And finally, never leave power tools unattended. And keep children away from the work area.
A public service announcement from Underwriters Laboratories in this station.
Pompeii stands at a crossroads in time, oblivious to its future. In 4 days, it will have disappeared under 30 feet of volcanic ash. Until an hour ago, today, August the 21st, 79 A.D., it was a favorite Italian vacation town for Romans, Greeks, and Egyptians. A happy town filled with warm, fun-loving people. Then suddenly, in the early hours of this morning, it was shaken by an earthquake. About 4 on today's Richter scale. Marcus Rufus, a young Athenian architect who makes his home in Pompeii, takes up the tale.
I'd never experienced an earthquake before, but I vowed that I would live through this one. For one thing, I had a lot to live for. Oriana, a woman I hardly knew but already loved, whom I was able to rescue that night. Statues and roof tiles fell like rain, but we managed unhurt to get to the open square of the Forum. And safety.
Marcus Rufus, how did you find me?
My slave girl, Lydia, awoke me to tell me you'd been kidnapped. I put 2 and 2 together and found you in the Temple of Isis.
Kidnapped?
Oh, I knew right away there was more to it than that.
Funny. I can't seem to remember.
Look, the temple, the walls.
The temple! There's nothing left standing.
Hear ye, O people of Pompeii!
Nothing left but its high priest, Arbaces.
I must go to him. He may be hurt.
Hear ye, all those within the sound of my voice!
Marcus, let go of my arm.
Oriana, you will not go to him. I will not let you.
But why not?
The man is mad. Isn't that enough reason for you?
Citizens of Pompeii, this earthquake is a warning.
See for yourself, Oriana. Look at it. Standing there on the steps to the Temple of Isis. Steps leading to nowhere, shouting to no one. In this entire Forum, who is there but us?
The next time, the gods will not be as patient. This was a warning. If Rome does not return Pompeii to Egypt, the gods will destroy this city.
I thought we'd never get back to my home. At last. Arbaces, brother, are you here?
Oriana, are you all right? Oh, Marcus Rufus, forgive me. I didn't see you at first.
Has the quake done any damage to our house?
Not one column in the atrium budged a centimeter. The marble faun still stands in the fountain.
But you should see the center of Pompeii. Hardly a building left standing.
Let me go bathe my face. I'll be back.
Where has Oriana been all this night, Marcus? I can't tell you how worried I was. But I had no idea where to look for her.
I found her in the Temple of Isis. It's a long story. Fortunately, we were able to get out before it was completely destroyed.
The Egyptians' temple destroyed?
Nothing left of it but the stone steps.
What of him, the high priest?
He survived.
Was he hurt?
Not so one could notice it. When we came away, he was shouting dire predictions to anyone who would listen.
You speak in a mocking tone about this holy man, Marcus.
Arbaces, I know you are studying the ministry with him, but believe me, this isn't mockery in my voice, but anger. Somehow, I don't know how, that high priest, that man you think so holy, had a hand in kidnapping your sister.
Kidnapping? You said that to me before, Marcus. I don't remember that.
What do you remember, Oriana?
It's coming back now. Like through a haze. Arbaces came into the garden last night, telling me I had to return to the Temple of Isis with him that very instant. And then I don't know. Yes, I do. He gave me something to drink. All the rest is whirling away. And then your voice, Marcus, calling me. taking hold of my hand and running.
I think, Oriana, there has been enough talk for one night, enough excitement. Well, the earthquake tremors seem to have passed. I thank Jove you're sound and well. Now, I urge you to get some rest. See that she does, Arbaces. We can talk about all this tomorrow.
Good night, Marcus. I can never thank you enough.
Nor can I. Within 2 days, Marcus, you've twice come to our rescue. Yesterday mine, and today Oriana's.
Strangely enough, I was haunted by the thought that the earthquake that rocked Pompeii that night was not nearly as dangerous to Oriana as her friendship with that Egyptian high priest, Arbaces. Obviously, he drugged her and brought her to the temple. And had not my blind slave girl Lydia warned me, Oriana might have disappeared from my life. Oh, there had been other women who interested me. Julia. I was stricken with guilt. Julia, who until a few days ago had been the woman of my dreams. I'd completely forgotten her.
Master, may I have a word with you?
What?
Have you been asleep on the temple steps all night, Master? For shame.
Well, who comes upon me so suddenly in the morning?
We have not spoken before, but I know you to be the high priest of this temple.
What was this temple? These few steps are all that remain. No, I have not been sleeping, woman. I have been praying to the gods to help me rebuild. Who are you?
I am Julia, from the house of Diomed.
Diomed? The merchant and ship owner?
The same. He is my father. Do you know him?
He came here once, not long ago, and tried to induce a miracle to guarantee the safety of his ships by making a donation to the temple of fool's gold. Julia, sit by my side, my child, and tell me what has brought you to see me.
Your fame, great master. Your knowledge and power are well known in Pompeii. I need your help.
What is it that could possibly trouble such a beautiful young lady? You don't appear unhappy.
I wish to have the power of one of the Greek Furies.
Which?
The Eumenides.
So it is revenge you seek.
Pitiless, vindictive punishment.
Why do you wish it?
Julia does not relish being rejected for another.
You love someone who loves not you.
He did, until a very few days ago. Now I have learned he has given his heart to another woman. I must triumph over my rival. I must have power over his life.
Tell me, if I had such a power, why should I make it known to you?
For two reasons. First, this purse of gold. There's enough gold to rebuild the entire temple of Isis, stone by stone.
Perhaps I don't need a second reason.
You shall have it for nothing. The woman I wish revenge upon is Oriana.
Oriana? Who lives in the house of the marble form?
The same.
Her brother, Arbaces, is studying the Egyptian ministry with me. Oh, yes. I believe I know of Oriana.
Arbaces, can our relationship, yours and mine, be an honest one?
Naturally.
Oriana is not as casually known to you as you make out. And I would like you to trust me enough not to pretend.
Well, you seem to have overheard the gossip of Pompeii.
A woman as outspoken as Oriana cannot live a life unnoticed. Not here. Not in Pompeii. There's not only talk, but certain knowledge of your interest and, shall I say, affection for her. Can you help me teach an unforgettable lesson to both Oriana and the man who should be mine?
Tell me, not so gentle Julia, this stupid suitor who has angered you, he is certainly of noble birth.
True. Quite noble.
Can he be from Pompeii and reject such beauty as yours?
He is of Athens.
Yes, there is but one Athenian, young and noble in Pompeii.
Is he Marcus Aurelius Rufus?
Yes. You will keep my secret?
Of course. Marcus Rufus. Julia, I shall help you.
Oriana, are you awake?
Of course I'm awake and dressed.
How do you feel today, sister, after last night's adventure?
Refreshed, but still strange. Last night seemed like a distant nightmare.
That it was. The center of Pompeii destroyed by an earthquake.
So it was true.
Is that all you remember?
No. Brother, I think the high priest of Isis took me by force to the temple. Why have we been so blind, believing in that man and his greatness for so long?
I, too, Oriana.
I trusted Arbaces. I believed he was good. And now I feel somehow betrayed. Last night, everything suddenly became unclean. I thought he was quite mad.
Perhaps he is. I, too, feel betrayed.
For me, it's worse than that. I need something, someone to believe in, a religion of some kind, a star to guide me. And now I'm left without anything.
Do you remember yesterday morning, going underground to hear Paul the Nazarene? When he talked about Christ, wasn't it inspiring? Perhaps Christ is the answer.
Go, brother. Find out if the disciple Paul is still preaching in Pompeii and come back and tell me.
Come with me now. It's still early.
Marcus Rufus will be here soon. I cannot leave the house now. You go, brother.
Oh, Marcus will understand. He'll wait. He's a good friend.
I feel he's more than that. I have something important to tell him.
And he can't wait? Surely finding Paul is much more important. Marcus will wait. I'm certain of it.
But I cannot. I woke up with his name on my lips.
What does that mean?
That I must tell him something I have been wanting to tell someone for years now.
Are you serious, Oriana?
About Marcus Rufus. As I have never been about anyone in my whole life.
You love him?
I wish us to become engaged, to be married. Today.
Oriana, I must say, when you make up your mind, you act.
I have a premonition. I don't know how much longer we of Pompeii will have time for love.
Of course, Oriana couldn't have had an inkling that within 4 days, Pompeii would be a doomed city. But highly intuitive, she might have sensed something in the air. Her brother, Arbaces, also could not have known that the Egyptian beliefs in many gods would be superseded by Christianity. But he, too, had a highly developed sixth sense. It was this that compelled him to seek out the man who centuries later would be known to the world as St. Paul. I'll be back shortly with Act 2.
This week on Knots Landing, Karen's efforts to defend her daughter's school teacher from her neighbor's attacks lead her into a relationship that could destroy her marriage.
Starting this afternoon, I'm going to do whatever I can to help beat you.
I wonder if you'd say that if you didn't have those curly blue eyes.
Michelle Lee stars on Knots Landing, Thursday night at 10, 9 Central, on CBS Television.
Suppose I asked you to lunch tomorrow.
Ask.
The word is out. There's an outrageous new thriller just published entitled Out. It's the unbelievable story of two mob kingpins, a two-timing shyster, and a mall named Zaza, all involved in a daring plot to launder billions of mob money through a Swiss bank. The only trouble is the one man with the password to get the money out has vanished. Well, not exactly. His leg is found on the Geneva to Zurich train. For out-and-out entertainment, read Out by Pierre Ray, a Bantam book where paperbacks are sold.
Maybe we're all too emotional when we think about special education for handicapped children. We always think of human values, not dollar values. Maybe it's time we took a cold, hard look at these kids and what it costs to develop their potential. Okay, the truth. Special education and vocational training cost a lot of money. Special teachers, special equipment, special classes. It all adds up. But here's the catch. It costs even more not to educate handicapped people. Much more. Keeping people dependent for life or keeping them in institutions. Those are luxuries we can't afford. So don't be emotional. Look at it coldly in dollars and cents. With special education, most handicapped children grow up to become taxpayers. It's a good investment. A public service message on behalf of the United States Office of Education.
Morning of August 21st, 79 A.D. There is love, there is hate, there is jealousy, plots being hatched, revenge sought. The ebb and flow of life in those ancient days, as unearthed and unmasked by that great Victorian baronet, Sir Edward Bulwer-Lytton, in his vivid book, The Last Days of Pompeii. Marcus Rufus, the Athenian, continues the story.
Within the hour after dawn, I was at the gate of the house of the Marble Faun, Oriana's house, ringing the bells and waiting admittance.
A very good morning to you, Marcus. Forgive me, but I must hurry along.
Oh, Arbaces. Well, where to at this early hour? The city still sleeps.
Can I trust you with a secret, Marcus?
Well, I hope so.
The events of last night have changed my mind about the future.
You're no longer going into the ministry?
If I do, it will not be in the Temple of Isis. Let me put it this way. Yesterday morning, the both of us went to a secret meeting to hear Paul, the Nazarene. And we both truly believe what he preached. Right now, I'm going to try to find him to see whether I could be converted. Marcus, I know it's the way for me.
Father, whatever is going on in our house, I can't leave you alone for 2 minutes.
2 minutes? You've been out of the house all morning, Julia.
I come home, the atrium is filled with servants, caterers. My father is giving a party. What are you celebrating?
Failure and success, daughter. Failure because, as you know, I lost another 3 ships in yesterday's storm. But I console myself. I might have lost the cargoes anyway in last night's earthquake.
So we have less money than we ever had, and you throw a big, expensive party.
Only for a few friends. Do you remember Marcus Rufus? Weren't you seeing quite a lot of him at one time?
Yes, I remember him.
Well, we are going into business together, Marcus and I. He has contracts to put up quite a few fancy villas. Some facing the bay, some on the slopes of Vesuvius, expensive ones. He will design them, and I'll take care of the stonemasons, the plumbers, the roof tirers. In short, the building. Of course, Julia, you're welcome to invite anyone you wish.
I thought you'd never say so.
Oh, child, anyone. There's plenty of food and wine. This is your house as much as mine. Who would you like?
I would like to invite the high priest of the Temple of Isis.
Arbaces? You're joking.
Why are you so surprised, Father?
Well, I really don't see what we people of commerce have to do with it. Well, I don't know. A religious fanatic.
Well, you didn't think he was such a fanatic when you promised to send him gold to protect your ships.
Who told you that?
He did.
Well, I knew he couldn't protect those ships. I wasn't serious about it.
It's too bad you weren't. Perhaps your ships wouldn't have been wrecked.
Now, Julia, I am not going to argue with you about this fellow's powers. You want Arbaces here? Well, I said you may. So you may. Now, anyone else you'd like to invite?
Marcus Rufus is coming?
Well, of course he is. The banquet's mainly in his honor. When a man of his young years offers me a new business and a new lease on life, you can bet I make sure the guest of honor arrives.
I'd like to be placed between Marcus and Arbaces at dinner.
Well, I'll do what I can, Julia. Well, you'd better run along now and invite your high priest. The banquet will begin 3 hours before sunset, and I don't want you strolling in while we're toasting the gods.
That's Diomed, the ship owner, for you. The man's practically bankrupt, and he has to throw a party for our new building business. I hated to leave Oriana today. especially now that she'd agreed we could be officially engaged. But old Diomed would have been too disappointed.
Now, Arbaces, think it over, my boy.
You don't understand, Master.
But of course I understand. You just talked to Paul the Nazarene. He is a convincing speaker. I know all about him. But to go off and leave your family and join him, these aren't decisions to be made hastily. I speak to you as an Egyptian with the wisdom of the ages behind me.
Master, are there any more marble pieces this size?
Try the other side. Some may have fallen there.
The workers from Luxor. They happen to be in the city. I was lucky to get them to start rebuilding. Nice. Now, where was I?
It's not the age of Egyptian civilization. It's what I feel in my heart, Master.
We Egyptians were already civilized when you Romans and Greeks were learning how to hold a sword.
I wish I could convince you. I want to convert. I must. Paul talked to me in my own language. He made me understand.
All I say to you before you go off and join this Paul in his travels is reflect. Have you talked it over with your sister Oriana?
She knows how I feel. I couldn't get any sense out of her today anyway. She became engaged to marry Marcus Rufus this morning. And that's all she has on her mind.
Marcus Aurelius Rufus, the Athenian. Is it definite?
So far as I know. I stopped in on my way here. They were both walking around with moonstruck faces.
Oh, excuse me, Master. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Julia, what brings you here? Oh, do you know Arbaces, my seminarian? Arbaces is Oriana's brother.
Oh, yes. I certainly know your sister.
Arbaces brings me some interesting news. Oriana and Marcus Rufus are announcing their engagement today.
What?
Yes. I thought you would be interested.
Do you know the Athenian, Julia?
I most certainly do. I have a bit of news myself. My father is giving a small party today, and I ask that you be invited, Master.
Oh, thank you, Julia. But I don't attend private parties. I am at prayer before the dinner hour anyway.
Perhaps you could make an exception this time. You see, the honored guest will be Marcus Rufus, and there will be much wine and many toasts.
Who else besides Diomed, your father?
Probably Publius Cornelius and...
The senator from Rome?
The same. You and I and Marcus Rufus and a small group.
Do you think your father would mind if I brought along Arbaces here?
Well, not at all. He told me to invite anyone I wanted.
But I won't know anyone there.
You know Marcus Rufus, don't you? After all, he's going to be your brother-in-law. Now, Master Arbaces, can we talk privately concerning that matter I came to see you about this morning?
Yes, I have been thinking about it. Arbaces, you know the house of Diomed? Well, I'll see you there at the usual dining time. Now, if you will excuse us. I'm afraid, Julia, there is no place here in the forum that's very private.
I know. Let's go to the docks where my father ties up his boats. There's no one there now, and we won't be observed.
Now, you ask for a potion that would make Oriana despise Marcus and Marcus despise her. I have a small vial given to me by the oracle I went to visit when I was last in Thebes.
What can it do?
All I know is I was told to administer it carefully to an enemy, for it can bring on madness.
Let me have it. I shall put it in Marcus's wine.
You wish him mad?
He's mad already, turning his back on me, betrothing himself to a woman he hardly knows. Give me the vial, Arbaces. Who knows? Perhaps this potion will make him sane.
More wine. The senator's cup is empty.
Jimmy, I compliment you. This is the coolest atrium I have been in all of Pompeii.
Well, it is the fountain, Senator. I have water running all the time. It freshens the air. Oh, and I love the sound. Here come, everybody. Eat and drink up. Julia, Julia, this is no time for fasting. Here, Marcus, have more mushrooms. It will keep your hair red. Attention, everyone, all my good friends. Senator Cornelius, Julia, my daughter, Arbaces is the holy man from the Temple of Isis, and his seminarian, this quiet young man on my right, and all of you. I lift up my cup in honor of my new partner, the famous young architect, Marcus Aurelius Rufus, who has convinced me it's more profitable to build houses than to sail ships.
It's never been proved. Here, more wine here.
Well, perhaps not, Senator, but my heart isn't in ships anymore. So, let us lift our cups and drink to Marcus and myself and our new venture.
Oh, no.
Oh, Marcus Rufus, how can you ever forgive me? I jostled your arm and spilled your wine.
Here, Marcus, take my cup. I'll have another.
Thank you.
Bring me wine this instant.
Now then, are we all filled? Who will join me in emptying a cup to success?
Just a moment. I'd like a word. I do raise my wine cup to the future. And I'd like to add to the toasts and good wishes by telling you that this morning I became engaged to the loveliest woman in Pompeii, Oriana. And now, may everyone in this atrium, at this table, raise their cups to their lips to love and success. And may Apollo watch over us.
Lovely speech. Very nice.
Of houses to build houses, ship.
Marcus, what is it? What are you saying?
It's too warm for me here. I must go.
Marcus, why are you getting up?
He looks very pale. Perhaps I should go with him.
There is fire in my veins. Stay away from me! Don't try to stop me, anyone. I have my dagger. Stay away! It's tearing at my brain. So many colors, blinding colors!
Arbaces, come with me. Something has affected his mind. I fear for his life. Will you excuse us? I must go help the poor man. He has suddenly gone mad.
We are in a first century world, looking at it from what is almost the 21st century. I don't know whether it has struck you as forcibly as it has me, but so far as I can see, only the conveniences have changed, not the people. The same rich, the same poor, the same stubborn, the same diehards, the foolish, the good, the bad, the loved, the unloved. The only difference is the place where you and I live now doesn't have death breathing fire 4 days from today. I'll be back with Act 3 shortly.
They said it couldn't be written. The book that hit America like a runaway locomotive. The new Consumer Information Catalog.
For the life of me, Foster, your obsession with that book escapes me. It's only a catalog.
The book that's helping America find a better way to live.
What do you find in that catalog?
Something you could never give me, Lillian. More than 200 fact-filled federal publications listed inside. Booklets on home and car repairs, weight control, keeping household records, and more. I read them all to be the man you want me to be.
That's a lot of reading.
The book you have to read from the Consumer Information Center of the U.S. government. The new Consumer Information Catalog. It's free. Just write to Free Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009. That's Free Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009. Send for the book.
Don't wait for the movie.
Do you know how to get the most for your money when you're buying air conditioners, vacuum cleaners, baloney, auto batteries, calculators, washers and dryers, cameras, insulation, house paint, margarine, freezers, tuna fish, insurance, lawnmowers, mopeds, food processors, radios, refrigerators, television sets, stereo systems, and automobiles? Well, these are just a few of the hundreds of products that Consumer Reports tests, rates, and investigates for you. Consumer Reports is published by America's leading non-profit product testing consumer organization, completely independent. When you read Consumer Reports, you'll know how to get the most out of the dollars you you spend. 1,000. Subscribe now to Consumer Reports for this money-saving offer. 11 monthly issues of our magazine, Consumer Reports, plus the invaluable 1980 buying guide issue, plus our 383-page guide to drugs and health, plus the 1981 buying guide issue when published. 331-1000. A total value of $25.75. All for just $12. Just $12. To take advantage of this offer, dial this toll-free number, 800-331-1000. Consumer Reports, 800-331-1000.
And we're at the desperate Battle of Monmouth. A legend is being born before my very eyes. A young woman volunteer, Molly Pitcher, is helping fire one of the American cannon. Can you talk to us, Molly?
Are you kidding? With half of the British Army coming at us? Fire!
But isn't this hot, hard work for a woman?
Hot and hard? Try cooking in a colonial kitchen sometime. Man or woman, we've all got to help our country.
Today, thousands of women are volunteers who have joined National Guard and Reserve units. They are a vital part of our military manpower.
And woman power.
At only a fraction of the cost of equivalent active duty forces, over 300,000 employers have signed a statement of support encouraging employees to participate in Guard and Reserve training. Shouldn't you?
Hey, you employers out there. Don't you know that when you help a volunteer help our country, you're helping yourself? If you haven't signed a statement of support yet, you should be ashamed. Fire!
Write Employer Support, Arlington, Virginia 22209. A public service on behalf of Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve and the Advertising Council.
The second of the Last Days of Pompeii, as originally set down by Edward Bulwer-Lytton. Marcus Rufus, an Athenian, while drinking a toast at a banquet, has suddenly gone out of his head and runs wildly from the house of his friend Diomed. Chasing after him to see that he comes to no harm is Arbaces, the high priest, and Arbaces, the young brother of Oriana.
Arbaces, what should we do? It's quite dark now. We've walked the length of Pompeii, and Marcus Rufus has disappeared.
I'm worried about that dagger he carries. Supposing he fell on it and injured himself.
What's that?
An owl. Owls and bats live in the tombs of the Via della Tombe.
What makes you think Marcus came this way, Master?
Well, he couldn't have doubled back. You heard him singing before.
But we have no torches. The moon is covered by clouds. We'll never find him here along the Street of Tombs. There must be thousands of graves and vaults he could be hiding behind.
There they go. A dozen bats.
Never been proved, Senator, but a house will float and a ship will sing.
That's Marcus. He's near us.
Oriana, come help me. I don't feel well.
Arbaces, you take this path and I'll take the one to the left. When you find him, hold his arms behind him so he cannot do himself harm.
Catch me if you can.
Master, I think he's over this way.
The lights, the colors. I've never seen such colors. Is it night or is it the birth of the world?
Master! Arbaces! I think I found Marcus. Marcus Rufus. It is I, your friend, your future brother-in-law, Arbaces.
Come enemies, come friends. There's such a new world of color and light.
I can't get through there. It's a labyrinth of tombs. Arbaces! Oh, I wish the moon would come out from behind the clouds so I could see something. Arbaces, where are you?
Stop! You. Why am I in the cemetery? You, sir. Who are you? Answer or forever hold your peace!
Arbaces, did you say you had found Marcus? Murder! Oh! Citizens, help me! A murder on the Via della Tombe! Help me or the murderer escapes! Blood! Oh, his poor blood! Did someone find murder? Are you a centurion? Yes, I am. Then look for yourself.
They tell me they found the lifeless body of Arbaces and that I was standing beside him, blood on my dagger. I remember none of that. I couldn't understand what had happened to my mind.
When I finally came to my senses, my hands had been tied behind my back. I lay in a dungeon. I'd been arrested.
I see you've awakened. Are you Marcus Aurelius Rufus, lately of Athens?
Are you a centurion?
I am.
Then I am Marcus Rufus. Of what am I charged?
Murder.
Whom have I murdered?
A young priest, Arbaces.
Arbaces? Arbaces is dead. How horrible.
You knew the priest.
He was like a brother to me.
Can you stand up?
Yes. Yes, I can. This rope that twists my arms behind me is uncomfortable.
It must remain so. Now, you come with me.
Where are you taking me?
Pompey is fortunate that Publius Cornelius, the Roman senator, is visiting here. He's consented to be the judge.
Publius Cornelius? Was he not a guest of Diomed, the ship owner?
I believe he was. Do you know him?
Very briefly.
Well, that may be fortunate for you. It may assist you in the defense of your life.
Senator, I am accused of a murder I did not commit.
Marcus Rufus, I hardly know where to begin this interrogation. It seems but minutes ago we were all celebrating at the house of Diomed, and you, Marcus Rufus, were an honored guest.
Senator, what happened this evening is equally mysterious to me. I ask myself, is this a living nightmare, or simply am I dreaming?
You are not dreaming. The stain of blood is still on your right hand.
On my right hand? That is only one of the mysteries of this dark deed. Why is there blood on my right hand?
It was reported by the centurion and a witness that you were holding a dagger in that hand when you were discovered with the victim.
But had I attacked anyone, Senator, it would not have been with my right hand. I am left-handed.
You were also somewhat out of your mind, Marcus.
Is it not possible that someone else killed my poor young friend while my mind was wandering, smeared my dagger with the corpse's blood and placed it in my right hand?
That would imply the victim was killed with another's knife. No such knife has been found.
Has another knife been searched for? I ask again, could not another person have done the murder?
For what reason would someone else kill the priest?
For what reason would I wish to kill Arbaces? This very morning, I went to visit his own sister, Oriana, to learn what he already knew, that she had consented to marry me. Now, why would I even wish my future brother-in-law dead? Nay, why would I kill him? That is what I mean by a living nightmare.
Marcus, it is you who must answer questions, not I. It is you who must defend yourself or admit the crime.
I have no defense. I have no memory of the deed. All I can say is I was not myself.
Bring in the witnesses, please. Gentlemen and lady, will you kindly identify yourself?
I am Diomed, Senator, but you know that.
Let us keep this strictly formal. And your name, sir?
I am Arbaces, the high priest of the Temple of Isis.
And you, miss?
I am Julia, the daughter of Diomed.
Would you say, Diomed, that Marcus Rufus here ever evidenced any animosity towards the deceased?
No, I know of none.
Did the prisoner behave in any threatening manner towards the deceased when you last saw him?
Well, you know he didn't, Senator. You were right there at the dinner. Marcus was making a toast when something happened to him. It was as though the god Chaos had taken possession of his body.
You, Julia, I understand you invited the deceased, Arbaces, to the banquet. Was he a friend of yours?
No. He was a friend of mine, Arbaces, the high priest here.
I see. So it was you, Arbaces, who invited the deceased to Diomed's dinner?
I thought it would be pleasant for him. He had been studying the priesthood at our temple. A bright young man. I had no idea it would be his last meal on earth. A terrible end.
I seem to remember you And he went out after Marcus when the accused ran out of the house.
Yes. We both followed him until it became quite dark, and then we got separated.
And then?
Well, by one of the tombs, I thought I saw this Athenian and the young priest in earnest conversation. The Athenian, Marcus, waving his arms wildly, much the same as when you last saw him yourself, Senator, at the banquet. Then I saw him raise his dagger. I ran forward, but too late to avert the blows. He had stabbed his victim twice. I struck the murderer to the ground and called for help.
Marcus Aurelius Rufus, what do you say to that?
Nothing. I remember none of it. I was returned to my cell. An hour later, I was brought some food. As a favor, so that I could eat, the centurion unbound my hands. I grasped the bench I'd been sitting on with both hands, knocked the centurion flat into a faint, and ran.
Who is it that rings my door this time of night?
It is I, Oriana. Marcus Rufus. Let me in.
What are you doing here, Marcus? How could you possibly come here? They haven't even buried my brother yet.
Oriana, there is only one person in the world I can trust, and it's you. I tell you now, I did not kill Arbaces. Whatever spell I was under, whatever sickness infected me, I loved your brother too much to have ever raised a finger against him.
Marcus Aurelius Rufus, we know you've taken refuge in the house of the marble faun. Come out as an honorable man and obey the laws of Rome.
How did they know I was here?
Marcus, there is no place to hide.
If I can get up on the roof, I can escape from roof to roof. There's no moon tonight.
Escape to where?
My boat, perhaps. Perhaps back to Greece.
Marcus, if someone else killed my brother, surely it will be discovered. All you have to do is tell the truth.
You don't understand. I don't know the truth. I cannot remember what happened.
Marcus Rufus, come out of your own free will. Give yourself up.
Oriana, where are the stairs to the upper story?
Was it yesterday, Marcus? Last night, when I, too, suffered a lapse of memory?
By Jove and Jupiter. When you were taken to the temple of Isis. All you remember is a hand over your face and being given something to drink by Arbaces.
It's still a blank, whatever happened in the temple.
Arbaces. Could something have been placed in my cup of wine tonight? Hide me, Oriana, till I can think this through. I was up on the roof before the centurion could gather his wits. I knew these roofs and the way the houses all backed on one another. I'd designed enough of them. No point in remaining in Pompeii now. Perhaps someday I'd come back and clear myself. In the meantime, Oriana would do some thinking. If Arbaces had drugged her, why not me? I jumped for it, missed my step, and turned my ankle.
Too bad, Marcus. You broke that beautiful jar. I've been watching you running about the rooftops like a squirrel. You must think we centurions are fools. Now come along quietly without awakening the rest of the city.
Centurion, how did you know where to find me? Which house?
The witness, Arbaces, told us.
I might have guessed. He is determined to get me into trouble.
The senator has called an emergency meeting of the Senate to determine what to do with you.
I was trapped in this cell, and I knew it. There was no escape now. I knew that, too. I began to doubt my own innocence. Perhaps those who had given evidence against me knew something about me I did not.
Marcus Aurelius Rufus, it is the judgment of the Senate that you may have not been completely sound of mind at the time of the murder. Therefore, to follow the precepts of the primeval god, Chaos, in determining your guilt or innocence. You shall be tried tomorrow by the king of the beasts.
Oh, no. No!
The lion shall judge. If he slays you not, it will be a true sign you are innocent. If you are guilty, death will be your punishment. It is the judgment of the Senate that you, Marcus Aurelius Rufus, at tomorrow's gladiatorial games, shall be thrown to the lions.
I said before that in 1900 years, all that has changed were the conveniences of living, that people have not. Let me amend that. The meting out of justice, distinguishing the guilty from the innocent, has, thank heaven, also changed. Lions are no longer judges. Appetite no longer determines guilt. But this is Pompeii in 79 A.D., a city with only 3 days of life itself. I shall be back shortly.
When you see her, you walk on by, you don't know him, you won't even try.
That's Stella Reese, singing about how people with epilepsy are sometimes misunderstood. Do you know that epilepsy can happen to anyone, at any age, from many causes? Epilepsy can begin from a bad case of measles. I'm Gerald June. I know. At 9 years old, I contracted measles encephalitis. Now I have epilepsy, but it doesn't stop me from writing music. My kind of epilepsy couldn't have been prevented then. It can now.
When you see her, you walk on by, you don't know him, you won't even try. They don't want you to hold their hands, they just need you to understand.
To learn about causes and prevention, contact your local chapter of the Epilepsy Foundation of America or write Epilepsy, Washington, D.C., 20036.
Tomorrow we bring you the third day of the 5 Last Days of Pompeii. Sir Walter Scott called Pompeii the city of the dead. I deny that. Those whose voices you have heard, whose lives you have shared, are very much alive. And thanks to that eminent author, Sir Edward Bulwer-Lytton, to say nothing of the scholars and archaeologists who came after him, Pompeii lives and will always live. And like all mysteries presented on Mystery Theater, if you wish the truth, you must dig deep. Our cast included Russell Horton, E.V. Juster, Christopher DeBory, Valika Gray, and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now a preview of the third day in our special series, The Last Days of Pompeii. Half prophet, half fiend.
What kind of wine is it?
You taste it and see. Nothing but the best for our prisoner. Hey, don't throw that.
I threw the entire beaker of wine into the centurion's face, and before he could recover, I'd snatched the keys from his waist, run to the adjoining cell, and unlocked it.
My eyes, I can't see.
What do we do now, Diomed?
We run for it. This way. No. That is closed off. It must be the other way. Oh, by Jupiter, I'm lost. No, I'm not. We can get out down this corridor.
Are you sure you know how to get out of this prison?
Go there. You're true. That passage leads nowhere.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Today, the third of a 5-part series piecing together the puzzle that was ancient Pompeii. Its people, their lives, their dreams, all suddenly snuffed out by the most dreaded of natural cataclysms, the eruption of an incendiary volcano. Was it, as some preached at that time, a retribution of gods against Pompeii, the city of sin? An accident? Fate? Today's tale takes us 48 hours before the end. A story of men and women who have still very much to live for.
Centurion, will you tell your prisoner, Marcus Rufus, that within an hour, an appeal will be made to the Senate to spare his life?
I'm afraid it's too late for that now.
What do you mean? He is innocent.
Hear that? That lion will decide whether Marcus Rufus is innocent or guilty.
Today's story, Half Prophet, Half Fiend, is the third episode of that classic novel, The Last Days of Pompeii, especially dramatized from the book by Sir Edward Bulwer-Lytton for Mystery Theater by Gerald Keane, and stars Russell Horton and Evie Juster. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Let me bring you up to date. The date, in fact, is August 22nd, 79 A.D. Yes, 1900 years ago. The place, Pompeii. The people, Arbaces, an Egyptian holy man who hardly practices what he preaches, who will turn to anything to gratify his desires. In this case, a young lady called Oriana. There is also Lydia, a blind girl who works as a servant in the house of Marcus Rufus, an Athenian architect. Although Lydia has never actually seen her employer, she loves him. And Marcus Rufus, where is he?
In prison. That's where I, Marcus Aurelius Rufus, am at present. Until yesterday, I was a respected summer resident in Pompeii, with a house, property, and as much work as I cared to take on. But today, here I am, in the house of the condemned, accused of murdering the brother of the woman I want to marry. Unbelievable.
I can't be calm like you, Senator, sitting here in the Imperial box and waiting for the gladiators to begin.
Oh, my dear Diomed, accept it.
I cannot believe that Marcus, a good, honest Athenian, would put a knife in anyone.
Hear me. You're a good man. You have no idea what goes on in the minds of certain people. What can drive them to murder?
Senator, are you saying that I am a simpleton?
No, I'm not. But you have to remember that Marcus Rufus, talented and well-off as he may be, is still a Greek.
Marcus Rufus himself, out of pure friendship, decided to share his professional life with me and give me a new start. He would design houses, I would build them. Now, I ask you, is that the conniving of a criminal? A fresh start in life he was giving me, eh? Well, is it?
Yeah, perhaps, but he's still a Greek.
You're adamant, then. Marcus will be judged in the arena this afternoon, eh?
By a lion. Oh, actually, my friend, I recommended mercy, but it was the decree of the entire Senate. Oh, come now. If your friend is as innocent as you believe, no beast will touch him.
Yes, I know. That's what the Romans believe.
Well, don't you?
How many condemned who defended themselves in this arena against a tiger or a lion? How many have lived to the next day?
Very few. In fact, none. But what does that prove? Merely that they all died because they were all guilty. Here come the first two gladiators. What's the matter, Marcus Rufus?
You don't care for your breakfast?
Tell me, Centurion, do those poor souls who know they're going to be thrown to the lions eat a good breakfast?
Some do, some don't.
All this doesn't seem to bother you a great deal. Bringing meals to the condemned, selecting the lions.
Bother me? Look, I think that you're guilty of stabbing that young priest, Arbaces, and of killing him. You should be thankful I'm your God, not your judge.
How can civilized people throw a citizen to the lions and believe that if the lion spares you, you're innocent, but if the lion does not, you're not only guilty, but
eaten.
Let's not talk about it.
Well, then why not finish your breakfast, eh? You'll need your strength.
Centurion, do you know at what hour I am to enter the arena?
Well, that's up to the senator to decide. I'll be talking to him. I'm sure he regrets all this.
The senator regrets. What in the name of Jove does he know about death? I was caught in a web of circumstantial evidence. As I remembered that night, I realized some kind of drug must have been put into my wine cup, which, as we Greeks say, blew the mind apart. So, I ran from Diomed's party, and the next thing I knew, there was Arbaces, brother of the woman I loved, lying dead at my feet in a cemetery. His blood on my dagger.
Marcus, it is I, Diomed.
Diomed? Where are you?
In the cell next to yours.
What?
Okay, how are you, my boy?
Just a moment. Are you really imprisoned here in the house of the condemned?
Yes, under lock and key.
I don't understand.
Shh. Now, I don't want the guard to hear. Stand near your high cell window and I'll stand by mine. And then we can talk without raising our voices. Oh, Marcus, I was getting nowhere with the senator up in the imperial box. So I went into the forum and I got myself arrested.
I still don't understand, Diomed.
So I could get near enough to you.
This bulletin from the WWJ newsroom. A major fire is raging out of control at this hour at the Ford Motor Company plastics plant located in Milan. The Monroe County Fire Department classifies the blaze as being a 9-alarm fire with 9 different fire departments on the scene at this hour. Sources tell WWJ the blaze is reaching the critical...
Leaving your cellar door open.
Yes.
Good. Now, listen carefully. This is what you must do.
I brought you your noon meal.
You needn't have bothered. I told you I don't think much of your prison chef.
Don't be so picky. Here, let me untie your hands. I brought you a large beaker of excellent wine. Very nourishing. Well, have a sip. Go on, your hands are loose. Mind you, no tricks. My head is still sore where you threw a bench at me yesterday.
What kind of wine is it? Some cheap dregs?
Certainly not. The finest Falernian.
You're joking.
You taste it and see. Nothing but the best for our prison. Here, don't throw that.
I threw the entire beaker of wine into the centurion's face, and before he could recover, I'd snatched the keys from his waist, run to the adjoining cell, and unlocked it.
My eyes, I see.
What do we do now, Diomed?
We run for it, and this way. No, that is closed off. It must be the other way. Oh, by Jupiter, I'm lost. No, I'm not. We can get out down this corridor.
Are you sure you know how to get out of this prison?
You too. That passage leads nowhere.
Oh, I thought I was sure.
Where do you think you're running, eh? If you want exercise, Marcus Rufus, you'll have to wait until later this afternoon. The lion will be very happy to give you a workout. Now, back to your cells, the two of you. March!
I'm sorry. Don't worry, Marcus. I'm not giving up. After all, Senator Publius Cornelius was a guest in my house when all this happened. I have just got to find the right approach to him. He will listen to reason.
All right, the two of you. Into your cells. It's not going to be so pleasant anymore.
Oh? It was pleasant before.
You'll think so when I put leg irons on each of you.
An hour later, I could hear Diomed being released from the house of the condemned. The centurion went back to his post. I wondered how much longer I had to live.
Who is it?
May I enter the house of the condemned?
Who are you? All right, who are you? Why don't you answer, girl, when you're spoken to? What do you want?
I must go to my master. I am Lydia, servant to Marcus Aurelius Rufus.
You can't see him. It's not permitted.
But I have an important and most urgent message for him.
Yeah, you look like a nice girl. Why do you work for a man like that?
He's my master. I'm his slave.
Bought you, I suppose.
Oh, I thank Venus for that.
And you're here to bring him a message. Well, I tell you right now, no.
But why not? There's no harm in a message to one of the state's prisoners, is there?
Until he becomes dinner for the lions, he's shackled in irons. You, Marcus Aurelius Rufus, will try no more tricks, and I advise you to do the same. No tricks. Now, go on home like a nice girl.
Centurion, I am telling the truth. I do have a message for him.
All right, give it to me.
Well, it's not written down. I must tell him myself. It will only take a few minutes.
You don't seem to understand. No one is allowed to see the prisoner. Not that prisoner.
You don't seem to understand, Centurion. I am not able to see my master, but I must tell him.
Oh, you're sightless?
Since birth.
Oh, I'm sorry, miss.
Lydia.
Lydia, I'm sorry. I hope it won't be difficult for you in your condition to find another master after the games this afternoon.
He is innocent.
Then no lion will touch him. So what have you got to fear?
Lions and tigers are dumb beasts who shall not be entrusted with human lives.
Oh, who tells you that, Lydia?
Mistress Oriana. She is teaching me that the real world is not what we in Pompeii are taught. That man has much to know before he will know himself and the truth.
Yeah, I believe I've heard about that woman, Oriana. Yeah, the free woman, the free thinker. However, Lydia, I live by the rules, and I value my life too much to disobey orders.
Oh, please.
Well, all right. Give me the message, and I promise I'll tell it to Marcus Rufus myself, word for word.
Well, tell my master that his betrothed, Oriana, has had a change of heart. No longer does she believe he is guilty of killing her brother, and that within the hour, she personally will go to see Publius Cornelius, the senator, and beg him to spare Marcus's life.
I think it's too late for that now.
What do you mean? He is innocent, I tell you.
You hear that, little girl? That's the lion. The very lion who'll decide whether Marcus Rufus is guilty or innocent.
Those citizens of Pompeii were people, even as you and I, writes Sir Edward, author of the novel we are adapting. They lived under the shadow of uncertain death, even as you and I. They dealt with justice and injustice, and they dreamed there would always be a tomorrow, even as you and I. What kind of tomorrow, if any, is there in store for Marcus Rufus? We'll find out when I return shortly with Act 2. We must bear in mind we're tuning in on a civilization that crowded what is now Italy 1,900 years ago. Although man was advanced in many ways, he still placed his faith in many gods. The Christian belief that thou shalt not bear false witness was laughed at or disregarded. Traditional Roman religion was concerned with success, not sin.
Don't you understand, Centurion? Someone is not telling the truth.
What do you mean, someone?
Oriana says someone is a false witness, and she will tell that to the senator.
Young woman, I was that witness. I myself saw the bloody dagger in Marcus's hand, and Oriana's brother dead at his feet.
You were deceived, she says.
And Arbaces, the high priest who actually saw the murder done, he was deceived also. He was right there at the time.
There was someone else who saw the murder.
Who?
A man I used to work for before I was bought from him by Marcus Rufus. Calvus, the tavern keeper.
Oh, why hasn't he come forward?
Well, I think he wants money. This morning he came to Oriana's house and said he had proof if Oriana would make it worth his while.
Oh, his proof has a price.
When she asked him how much, he said, "You decide."
And then?
She said, "I have decided. Get out of my house immediately."
So he left, huh?
But he said he'd be back later.
Later may be too late.
Oh, I hope not. Oh, when do the condemned... Oh, I mean...
In the late afternoon. After the gladiators come the prisoners of war, and the last stand of the arena are the condemned. You haven't much time.
I must go. I'm charged with finding Arbaces, the high priest, and ask him to come and see Oriana urgently.
Arbaces, the principal accuser and witness?
Oriana has known him for many years. She believes he may be able to help.
Arbaces? You are Arbaces, the high priest.
I am.
I speak with you. You've not yet shared the pleasure, Master. My name is Calvus. I keep a tavern near the bay down by the docks. I wonder, what I have to say to you is such a private nature. Is there any, place we might talk?
These men fashioning the new marble pillars, they're Egyptian workmen from Luxor. It's rebuilding the broken front of the temple.
Ah, yes, from yesterday's earthquake.
Yes, exactly. We can sit here and talk. They don't speak our language. What brings you here this morning, Calvus?
Yeah, I know, as do many others in Pompeii, that you have a strong attachment, shall we say, for Oriana. But she is betrothed to an Athenian who in a very few hours, if all goes well in the arena, will no longer be a rival. Unless, of course, the lions leave him alone, or Marcus Rufus is proved innocent.
I don't follow you.
Don't you? You, of all people, must know Marcus Rufus is innocent of that murder.
Explain yourself.
I was there, Master, that night. I was in that grove by the Street of Tombs. I saw it all. I saw your dagger, Arbaces, pierce the heart of Epicides.
You were alone?
Oh, yes, quite alone. Now, I think I should tell you that I went to see Oriana this morning.
You're a man with a good business sense. Did you make her an offer to sell what you saw?
She sent me away. Wouldn't hear me out.
I'm glad you came to see me, Calvus. Now, if you don't mind, I had better look after my workmen. You come around next week sometime, and we will talk gold.
Before I go, honored sir, would you consider... Wouldn't you like to give me something in advance before Marcus is thrown to the lions this afternoon?
You couldn't wait until tomorrow.
Tomorrow, you might forget. And in all probability, an innocent man will have paid for your crime.
What price, Calvus?
I'll leave that to you. I've heard tell that you have a treasury of gold, that is as great as Nero's. So they say, down there, below the temple, underground.
Well, your silence should be rewarded.
Lead the way, Arbaces. I'll be right at your heels.
The temple is closed for repairs, young lady.
Is Arbaces the high priest here?
He was here a few minutes ago.
Well, it's important that I find him.
Well, have a look around. He couldn't have gone far. I saw him with the tavern keeper, you know, Calvus, the bald-headed.
Calvus?
You know him?
I used to work in his tavern.
I thought I'd seen you before. I'm the foreman on this job. You'll excuse me, but you keep looking at me in such a peculiar way.
Unfortunately, Master Foreman, I can't see you. I'm blind.
No. Such a beautiful girl. What a tragedy.
Oh, my life is no tragedy, believe me. Can you help me find Arbaces?
Of course I will. I think he took the back stairway down to the galleries under the temple. Give me your hand, miss. I'll lead you down. Now, it's dark down here. I can hardly see a thing. Keep holding on to my hands.
Perhaps I should be leading you. I'm used to the dark.
No, he's got to be down here somewhere.
Calvus, we turn right at the end of this passage.
Is that him?
Huh. Yeah, it's the high priest. Now, where did that voice come from?
No one could ever find your gold, believe me. They spent days down here looking.
That's Calvus. I recognize his voice.
Well, I'd better go now. You just walk straight along. If he sees me, he'll be angry that I'm not up there working.
Yes, here we are.
This door?
Now, Calvus, you take this lamp and hold it high so I can see the keyhole.
So this is where the gold of the temple is kept.
Yes, you'll see for yourself. Careful. Hold the lamp steady. Don't drip any oil or we could start a fire. I'll unlock the door. It's strange. It won't open. Oh, of course, it's been some time since I placed gold in the vault. Well, what is it?
I feel faint. I hadn't realized how little air there is down here. I can hardly breathe.
Oh, my friend, gold doesn't need to breathe. Stand aside. I'll give it another try. Now, you go first. Go ahead.
Me?
Yes, you may enter first and feast your eyes, Calvus.
Certainly, yes. Why are you pushing me?
I'm going to fall. Don't, please! Help! Arbaces, why have you shut me up in this tomb?
You wanted gold, you miserable tavern keeper. Go on, amuse yourself with it. Eat it. Drink it.
Arbaces, are you mad? Let me out.
This will teach you. You come to me with threats and demands for your silence.
I didn't mean it. Please, let me out. I beg you.
Go, scream if you wish. No one can hear you.
I'm choking in here. Arbaces, master, please, I beg you. Let me out.
Goodbye, Calvus. I showed no mercy when you saw me dispose of Arbaces. Why should I show any for you? Smother, starve, and die.
Calvus?
Who's there? Who's out there?
It is I, Lydia.
Who? What?
Lydia. Remember?
Lydia? Well, not the same blind girl who worked for me in my tavern.
Yes, Calvus. The same Lydia whom you would whip when you felt like it.
Lydia, listen to me. I didn't mean all that. I always thought of you like a daughter.
If Marcus Aurelius Rufus hadn't bought me from you, I would have run away.
Marcus Rufus, exactly. I want to save him. If you love your master, you'll want to save him too.
From the lion?
Yes, exactly. But you must hurry.
Well, what is it you know that can save him?
I know who really killed Oriana's brother. Take that information to the senator. The senator, Publius Cornelius. The others are nobodies. Tell him to stop the gladiatorial games until I am free to reveal the truth. That will save Marcus Rufus's life. Tell the senator I've been locked up here by the high priest. Locked up and left for dead. He wants me dead because I know the truth. Lydia? Lydia, do you hear me?
I don't know what to think.
You're not going to leave me here. Go, quickly, and tell the senator I've been imprisoned here. And that as soon as I'm freed, I'll tell Publius Cornelius who the real murderer is.
Not my master, Marcus Rufus.
Yes. I do mean that. Now, go. before it's too late.
Well, who is this young lady? May I ask what you're doing down here? Don't you know this is consecrated ground?
Are you Arbaces, the high priest? It is your voice.
Indeed I am.
My mistress, Oriana, has asked me to find you and for you to please see her as soon as you can. She said that.
Oh, did she? Well, is that why you are here, little lady? Talking to yourself?
I'm talking to Calvis.
To who?
Calvis. He's... Oh...
He's... what?
Behind that door.
Oh, there is no one behind that door, child. Perhaps you're not feeling too well.
Why do you say that? Of course Calvis is in there. I know his voice.
Well, shall we see for ourselves? Here, I'll open it. Go inside. Go have a look around. There's no one in there.
Why are you pushing me through the door? Oh, please, let go of me. Calvis, come help me. I don't want to go in here.
Oh, but you must, you little...
Oh, Calvis, help!
Marcus Rufus, you are to come with me.
4 hours before noon, I was taken from my cell to one of the cages underneath the amphitheater. I still had not eaten or drunk. Sometimes strange potions are given to the prisoners, and I was taking no chances. In a cage next to mine roared a very hungry lion. As was the custom, he had been starved to put him in the proper mood for an encounter in the arena. My only comfort was the blessed news from that dear blind Lydia that my beloved Oriana no longer doubted my innocence. I thought much about Oriana and wondered if I should ever see her again.
It was the national sport of those early centuries to throw gladiators, slaves, and criminals into an arena with wild beasts. Were the Romans more bloodthirsty than we today? Not if you can understand that human life 2,000 years ago did not have the value it has today. Today, bloodletting is an inhuman act. Yesterday, blood was the drink of the gods. I shall return shortly with Act 3. Of the third of the Last Days of Pompeii. Let me set the scene. In the atrium of the House of the Marble Faun, a meeting of Oriana and Arbaces. As Bulwer-Lytton describes the man, he is stately, with dark hair, dark robes flowing long and loose, arms outstretched, glittering eyes, fierce with a savage gladness, half prophet and half fiend.
Oriana.
It was good of you to come here, Arbaces, when you are so busy.
Rebuilding the temple? Oriana, you forget how often and how happily I used to visit your house. But that is past.
Are we not friends still?
How can you ask? I would have been here sooner, but I only just learned that you needed me.
Did you bring Lydia back here with you?
Well, isn't she here? She left me at the temple an hour ago.
No, I haven't seen her. It's not like her to dawdle on the road. Arbaces, forgive me, but time is precious, and I must speak what's on my mind. At first, I mistrusted Marcus, but now I am convinced of his innocence. He did not kill my brother.
What makes you believe so?
A dream I had last night. I was at Delphi in my dream, and the oracle spoke.
Well, dreams seldom speak the truth.
Dreams are the visions of the gods. Marcus is no murderer.
Well, I wish for your sake that it were so, Oriana. But with my own eyes, I saw him, the bloody knife in his hand.
You lie. It could not be.
I wish it were not.
I hate you, Arbaces, for saying so.
Why did you send for me, Oriana? What can I do?
Arbaces, use your powers, your influence. If you are able to set Marcus free, I promise you I shall never see him again. I have to know he is alive. Arbaces, I beg you.
Believe me, if I could save Marcus, I would.
Go now to Publius Cornelius and recant. You were the chief witness against him. Say you were mistaken. Anything.
I'm helpless.
It cannot be. The oracle has spoken. It is not Marcus who slew Arbaces. Don't you understand? Marcus isn't capable of murder. He loved my brother.
But he was not himself. Suddenly he ran from Diomed's house, shouting strange oaths like a madman.
Couldn't you prevail upon the senator and insist that Marcus had lost his mind? He was no longer Marcus himself, but Marcus infected by the god Chaos.
Oriana, if I could have Marcus freed, removed from the lion's den, if he made no appearance this afternoon at the gladiatorial games...
Could you?
I said if. Would you consent to be my wife?
Your wife?
Has it never crossed your mind that since you are a young girl, I have loved you deeply?
Wife? My brother's blood unavenged. The man I love with all my heart. To be torn apart by a wild beast this very afternoon. And you ask marriage of me? Never.
But why never? What had I to do with your brother's death, except to have arrived too late to prevent the deed?
Arbaces, I swear to you on the altar of Isis, if Marcus should die this afternoon, I shall follow him in death.
Oh, my dearest, you cannot.
If ever you loved me, do not fail me. You have denounced Marcus. Go now and forswear that accusation, or accept my blood as well as his on your hands.
Marcus Rufus, are you ready?
My readiness, Centurion, doesn't seem to matter. The lion is ready.
Even though you're a condemned criminal, Rufus, Roman law is merciful.
It doesn't sound very merciful.
When it's your turn to enter the amphitheater, you won't be pushed into the arena with nothing to defend yourself. Now, this dagger will be yours.
Oh, thank you. Am I next?
No. They have a half a dozen gladiators to watch before we get to the criminals and the Christians and the lions. When it's your turn, Rufus, I'll be back to tell you.
I'm in no hurry.
Niger has done it again. How many sesterces did you lose, Diomed?
10, Senator, but frankly, my heart isn't in the games today.
What? Because of Marcus? Oh, my dear Diomed, I am sorry about Marcus Rufus, but you mustn't let it spoil the day for you. And now, what? Something's wrong. There's a delay for some reason. Well, how about some wine, eh, Diomed? That'll perk you up. I'll have it brought here to the imperial box.
Yes, I suppose so.
My dear man, Marcus Rufus may be your friend, but he killed a man. I can do nothing. You there, slave. Some wine and 2 silver cups.
Senator, you wished wine?
I wished wine some time ago. You certainly took long enough. Offer a cup to my friend first.
Oh, here, sir.
Slave, haven't I seen you before?
Your voice is familiar, sir.
All right. Pour the wine. Don't stand there. Take up the jug and pour. Go on, slave. Go. No. Let me pour it. Get out. Now, what in heaven's name are you doing? are you doing? You've spilled wine all over the floor.
That is where I've seen her before. Ah, yes, girl, at Calvis Wine Shop. Aren't you the slave Marcus Rufus purchased the day that we were there?
Clean up this mess, do you hear me?
Please, Senator, I meant no harm. It was only to catch your attention.
How can you be so careless? Are you blind?
Yes, Senator. The girl is blind.
Senator, will you please read this note? Please read it.
All right. Give it to me. What is this? I can't make head or tail of it. Where did you get this?
Calvis, the wine merchant, my former master, and myself. We've been locked in a dungeon. I managed to find an opening too small for him to escape from, but he gave me this note and told me to find you at all costs. So I changed places with the slave who was to serve you.
Dear Ned, read this. This is a note from that Calvis who claims that Marcus Rufus had no hand in the murder he's accused of.
Hey, I knew it. I knew he was innocent. You'll have to stop the games now.
No, it's too late. Slave, you, female.
Yes, Senator?
This, Calvis, who claims he knows the real murderer of Oriana's brother, where is he?
Locked up underneath the temple of Isis. Arbaces, the high priest, forced us both into a vault.
Did I hear my name mentioned?
Yes, Arbaces, there seems to be some question here.
Your face is familiar, slave girl. Do you have a sister?
No, master. It was I, Lydia. Don't you know me?
She says you locked her in a vault.
What nonsense.
Read this note, Arbaces.
What is this? Is this some kind of a joke?
It's a serious accusation, Arbaces. Your word is questioned.
Calvis writes that he's your prisoner and he swears Marcus is no murderer.
Who is this Calvis? This note could very well be a forgery. You're not taking the word of a tavern keeper and slave girl against that of a high priest.
Oh, who would bother to forge the seal of Calvis? For what reason?
It's quite obvious that dear Med sets his friendship with this Athenian murderer above the law.
Well, enough of this bickering or we'll have a riot on our hands. Centurion! Oh, where is that fool?
Yes, Publius Cornelius.
Where were you? Centurion, do not release Marcus Rufus from his cell until I give the word. So, Arbaces, you know nothing about people being imprisoned underneath your temple?
Nothing. I know nothing about it. Here, take my keys, Centurion. Go to the temple. Try all the doors. If such a man is prisoner, bring him here. I have nothing to hide. Oriana, what brings you to the Imperial box?
I told you I would be here. With your kind permission, Senator.
You shouldn't have come to the amphitheater.
Madam, are you Oriana?
Am I in time? I don't see my Marcus in the arena. Arbaces, is it you? Have you been able to put a stop to this?
Oriana, may I introduce myself? I am Diomed, an old friend of Marcus. It has been decided he is not going to grapple with the lion.
Oh, great Zeus. Oh. Who do I have to thank for this?
I, madam. I ordered a delay in the proceedings.
Oh, thank the gods for that.
Great Caesar! What is happening down there?
It's Marcus. He is walking into the arena. Senator, you said he wouldn't be released.
The Centurion must have arrived down there too late. But, Madam Oriana, if Marcus Aurelius Rufus is innocent, he will not be harmed.
You are an insane fool to believe that.
Apollo, help us. The lion has been let out of its cage. No, I cannot look.
I don't think the lion has seen Marcus. Marcus is standing there, his arms folded. He has a dagger, such a small blade. Now, the lion sees Marcus, but the lion backs away. It's turning now, circling the arena. How strange.
Tell me.
The lion looks as though it were trying to run away. Get out of the arena. It tried to leap over the parapet between the arena and the first row. It's fallen back. It's crawling. Actually crawling close to the earth.
This is madness. Wherever did they get such a cowardly beast? Oh, these games will be the laughing stock of the world.
Mistress, what's happening now? The lion is creeping back to its own cage. I've never seen such a look on the face of an animal before.
It was fear. I know animals. I've hunted wild boars and tigers, trapped lions and elephants. That lion was frightened. Not of me. Of something somewhere in the air over Pompeii. A signal, perhaps, that only the native intelligence of the King of Beasts could understand.
Today, with a greater knowledge of man and beast, we can comprehend what in those days only an animal could sense. Through the ages, we have learned that an animal can spot danger long before man. Instinctively, that lion wanted to hide. But the people of Pompeii, never once did they look over their shoulders at the smoldering Vesuvius. I shall return shortly. Edward Bulwer-Lytton, the author of The Last Days of Pompeii, paints a broad canvas, but with tiny detailed strokes. He balances the personal comedies and tragedies against the public drama about to unfold. When next we take to the airwaves, we shall be 24 hours before Pompeii disappears forever under an avalanche of volcanic ash and lava. I shall be here then and describe that scene for you. Our cast included Russell Horton, Ian Martin, Earl Hammond, and Evie Juster. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now a preview of the fourth day in our special series, The Last Days of Pompeii. Danger, love, and death.
You go back upstairs to the Imperial Box. Go up this way and around. It's safer than crossing the arena. I'll walk you along the arcade to the steps. There he lies in his cage, poor creature. He's more frightened of me than I am of him.
I don't think he likes you.
He likes me well enough to have spared my life. Didn't you, old boy? He's broken out of his cage. Oriana, don't move. Now, stand where you are, behind the door where it swung open. Hey! Now inside his cage, quick!
Now what are we going to do? We're shut inside the lion's cage, and he's outside.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Today, the fourth part of 5 installments rekindling the fires 19 centuries old. Not only the flames in men's hearts, but the smoldering of Mount Vesuvius, which after centuries of inactivity suddenly erupted in 79 A.D., wiping out cities, farms, cattle, and people in 24 hours. The time now? One day before that volcanic fountain of burning gas and rocks bursts into the early morning sky, and Pompeii is no more.
The lion is loose.
Come with me.
There's no place to go.
Inside his cage, quick.
Well, now, what are we going to do? We're shut inside the lion's cage, and he's outside.
At least we're alive.
Our drama is entitled Danger, Love, and Death. It is based in part on Bulwer-Lytton's classic novel, The Last Days of Pompeii, and has been especially adapted for the Mystery Theater by Gerald Keane. It stars Russell Horton and Patricia Elliott. It is sponsored in part by True Value Hardware Stores. I'll be back shortly with Act One. In the imperial box of the great amphitheater on a hot August afternoon, along with some 10,000 citizens of Rome and Pompeii. A lion has just run fearfully from the arena. The crowd is hissing and stamping its feet. For centuries, Romans believed blood the most precious gift they could offer their gods. And for centuries, the convicted walked by the imperial box crying, Ave Imperator, morituri te salutant. Hail, Emperor, we who are about to die, salute thee. This day, one of the condemned did not have to speak those words.
I was that one person, Marcus Aurelius Rufus. Arrested for a murder I could not have committed, sentenced to face a lion in the arena, and now free, because the lion would not face me. I could look out across the arena into the imperial box and see my friend Diomed listening to a very angry senator.
Diomed, I must be insane. How could this have happened to me?
Senator, you forget. It happened to me as well.
3 days ago, I come to your house for a party you're giving for Marcus Rufus. Suddenly, he runs from your house. Later that night, I'm told he stabbed a young priest to death in the cemetery, and then, what's-his-name, makes a formal accusation.
Arbaces, the Egyptian high priest.
I never liked that man. Cold eyes, staring. However, he and the centurion are valid witnesses, right? So the Senate decrees Marcus is to face the lion. Open and shut. Well, one would think.
Until Lydia, the blind servant girl.
Until she comes here and tells me there's another witness to the murder. Now, what am I to do? A senator is only a servant of the people, you know.
I know that.
So I bring Marcus into the arena, turn the lion loose, and the craven animal won't even look at him. He crawls away.
A sign from the gods that Marcus is innocent.
Nonsense. The accused is innocent if, in hand-to-hand combat with a lion or tiger, he wins. No one is innocent by default. And where is that sister of the deceased, that Oriana, who was screaming and yelling here?
Oh, she went down below to be with Marcus Rufus, now that he's in the clear.
It is not definite yet. I am far from satisfied.
But you wouldn't vote that Marcus be faced with another lion, would you?
A man cannot be brought to trial twice for the same crime. The gladiatorial games today are a shambles. Marcus comes out and all I can see is the lion's tail. And the people don't like it.
Listen with an open mind to this Calvus when the centurion brings him here. I know Calvus to be an honest man.
A tavern keeper, an honest man?
Did I hear someone say Calvus?
We're waiting for him, Arbaces.
Where is this Calvus whom I'm supposed to have locked up?
The centurion will fetch him.
If the man is there.
Speak of the devil. Calvus, you look a little worn. I'm glad you're here.
No more than I am. It's been a strain. Diomed transfers. It's good to see you.
You know the senator?
Oh, yes. I've attended him occasionally in the tavern. Senator, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for having rescued me.
You can thank Lydia, the slave girl.
I found this man in the gallery below the Isis temple exactly where the slave girl showed me that he was imprisoned. Here are your keys, High Priest.
Oh, what's the High Priest doing here? I don't want to talk to him.
You found this wine merchant in my temple. I have no idea how he got there.
Well, Senator, if you have no further need of me...
None whatsoever. Dismissed. Calvus, come here. Your message said you saw the murder of the young priest with your own eyes.
Yes, I did, Senator. I swear to it.
You saw who stabbed Arbaces?
Oh, I did, Senator. You have my word.
And it was not Marcus Aurelius Rufus?
No, it was not.
Enough. We shall hear your testimony at a more suitable time and place. Arbaces of Egypt, you have heard the charge. What do you have to say?
I still say I saw Marcus plunge the dagger.
You lie! It was you, Arbaces. You stabbed that young priest to death. I confronted you with that not 5 hours ago in your temple. You wanted me to have gold in return for silence.
This is not the time or place.
When I followed you down to those dungeons to fetch the gold, you locked me into an airless room. You left me to die.
I said enough. We shall hear your testimony at a suitable time and place. Arbaces, you wish to answer?
At the proper time and the proper place, I'll answer.
Marcus, how long are they going to keep you here?
Until the Senate decides whether I'm to be set free or not.
At least you're not locked up and I'm allowed to visit you. Oh, Marcus, can you ever forgive me?
My darling Oriana, you were so overcome with grief at the death of Arbaces, you didn't know what you were saying.
But to accuse you, how could I have done that?
Oh, that entire night was insane. Now I'm sure I was poisoned, but why and by whom, I've no idea.
I've been up in the Imperial box to plead with Senator Publius Cornelius. And while I was there was a hue and cry about a wine merchant who had actually seen my brother killed.
Not old Calvus, by any chance?
Yes, that's the name. The centurion was sent to fetch him, but I don't trust him.
You don't? Why?
He came to see me at the crack of dawn today, said he had evidence to sell me and to name my price. I thought he was lying, and I shut him out of the house.
Oriana, you must calm yourself. Now, you go back upstairs to the Imperial box. Go up this way and around. It's safer than crossing the arena. I'll walk you along the arcade to the steps. There he lies in his cage, poor creature. He's more frightened of me than I am of him.
I don't think he likes you.
He likes me well enough to have spared my life. Didn't you, old boy? He's broken out of his cage. Oriana, don't move. Now, stand where you are, behind the door where it swung open. Hey! Now inside his cage, quick!
Now what are we going to do? We're shut inside the lion's cage, and he's outside.
At least we're alive. The lion loose only added to the confusion. The guards subdued the beast quickly and released Oriana and me. No one knew what to